morning, everyone. So, good morning. Um, Topic for this morning. Okay? Okay. So, our topic for today, it's all about haiku. Does any one of you have any idea what is haiku? Okay, if none, let's proceed. Before we start, let's have our lesson of. Let's read what is haiku or huku. So, haiku is Japanese verse form most often composed in English versions of three unrhymed lines of 5, 7, and 5 syllables. So this is like the patterns. So it has 5, 7, and 5 syllables. A haiku often features an image or a pair of images meant to depict the essence of a specific moment and time. So, for example, an haiku about nature. So it goes like soft morning sunlight, bird sings above quiet trees, and dew shines on the grass. Okay? Again, soft morning sunlight, birds sing above quiet trees, dew shines on the grass. So it has three lines in the first line, seven syllable lines in the second line. Sorry, what I mean, sorry, five syllables in the first line, seven syllables in the second line, and five syllables in the third line. So, like in the example of nature, soft morning sunlight, birds sing above quiet trees, and dew shines on the grass. Okay? Basho. So, Basho is elevated the haiku into serious art form and wrote some of the most famous example history. So, did you know that there's a was a most famous Japanese haiku poet, and his name is Matsu Basho. So he is the most famous Japanese haiku poet and one of the masters of of using kingo beautifully and meaningfully. So, who was Matsubasho? So, Matsubasho lives during the Edo period in 60s. Considered the greatest haiku poet, focused on nature, seasons, and simple but deep emotions. He also believed poetry should connect the human and nature, and also he elevated haiku from something playful into something spiritual and reflective. Okay, for example, of Basho haiku with Kiku. Old silent pond. A frog jumps into the pond. Splash! Silence again. Again. Old silent pond. A frog jumps into the pond. Splash! Silence again. So the Kigo word is frog. In Japanese poetry, frog are associated with spring, because they're in spring. It's like the season of, like, they see a lot of frogs, I think. But that's what I've heard from someone. So in this poem, it reflects stillness, sudden movement, and awareness of the present moment. So usually basho, you often use ordinary ordinary seasonal images to express deep meaning. Okay, take note of that. So So instead of telling us the feeling, he used sorry, excuse me. He used simple seasonal words to create deep emotions. He lets nature show the feeling. Okay? Any questions? If none, let's proceed to our next. We describe season or nature, like filling words and keeping it short and also simple. Okay? Always take note of that. That haiku has um 5, 7, and 5 syllables. Alright, guys? Okay, next we have keigo. Keigo. So what is keigo? Keigo is words or phrases associated with a particular season to establish the setting and mood. So, a kiku is season word. Use a, tra- tradi- use a traditional Japanese haiku. It tells the reader what season the poem is about. It, the kiku helps create a mood, atmosphere, and connection to nature. So, for example, seasons of spring, summer, winter, autumn, right? In spring, we have cherry blossom. In autumn, we have sun, a hot sun, ocean waves. In autumn, we have falling leaves, cold wind, and winter, of course, snow, cold wind, bare trees, and icicles, right? So, for example, in haiku with Kikgo, it goes like this. In cherry blossom, the season is cherry blossom. So, it goes like this. Spring, cherry blossom, cherry blossoms fall, sorry, cherry blossom fall, soft petals cover the ground. Spring whisper goodbye. So, in this in Kigo, it usually has like it tell us the seasons of the poem. Like the example that I've given, that cherry blossom falls, soft petals cover the ground. Spring whisper goodbye. Okay, so it tells how the about the spring, right? Cherry blossoms. Like it's going to be an autumn, or it's either we're going to make a poem about the seasons of summer, autumn, and winter. Okay, so another example: winter season. All right, snow-covered rooftops, cold air touches quiet streets, footprints fade away. Okay, that's how Kiko. So like it suggests in Kigo it suggests a feeling, a mood, a stage of life, and a symbolic meaning as well. So in spring, for example, in every season, it creates emotional depth without directly explaining it, right? Like the example of earlier, the example I give is cherry blossom fall. Petals drift across the path, a quiet farewell. Okay? Okay. So, in this example, it's the cherry blossom, right? It's spring, cherry blossom. It show in the poem that I give you, for an example, it's show it's spring symbolize beauty and impa- uh, im- impermanence, and also it suggests a change or goodbye. Okay, so like earlier, as what I've said, it's a season. Kaigo is a season word. It adds emotion and meaning to the poem. With a poet chooses a season. It's always the season. They're also choosing a feeling. It's either goodbye or beginning. New beginnings, such as the new beginnings, isolation, or stillness. It's either in spring, in poem, it's change or goodbye, while in autumn, it creates a calm and reflective mood. In winter, it shows stillness. It's like when creating a poem about winter, it suggests um, stillness, isolation, or new beginning. But it depends on the writer of how she or he going to write a poem using kaigo in uh seasons. Okay? Okay, now we have, let's proceed. Oh, so what is Kiriji? Kiriji provides a structural or emotional break, often separating two different images or thoughts. So Kiriji means cutting words. In traditional Japanese, in traditional Japanese haiku, Akuriji creates a pause, adds emphasis, separates two ideas, and also create contrast. Think of it like in pause. Think of it like a punctuations, like dash. A punct. We use the punctuation dash. So, for example, like it functions like a dash, an ellipses, and also or a dramatic pause. Okay, for example of Matsubash Abasher, old silent pun, pause, a frog jumps into the pond, splash, silence again. So it's a spring poem. Okay, it's a spring poem. Old silent pun, pause, a frog jumps into the pond, splash, silence again. Okay, so in this poem, this poem that I give you as an example, it separates uh the stillness from the sudden action. When I read the poem, all si when I yeah, when I read the poem, old silent pond, pause. A frog jumps into the pond. Splash! Silence again. Can you see it? The pause create an emotional impact. It's like um the writer wants the writer wants the readers to think what happened. Just a little pause, and when reading something, what happened? Like it's like reading in a book of something like you kind of like for example you read about something about a love story, and suddenly the author or the writer informed that there will be like hiatus, or she or he going to take a break for a moment. So there's like waiting, right? There's a waiting. Let's just say 1 day waiting. In Kiriji, when the example said, uh old silent pond, pause. While in the book, like, we're going to wait for an exam, for a day until the author uh going to publish another chapter, right? So it's like you're going to ask, what happened? What what's going to happen? Why did he What's going to happen with the characters? The events, is it going to be intense? What what will the main character going to do? The leading lady, what will happen? The female character, right? So in this old silent pad, pause. What's in the old silent pad? What's going on? What is there to see? Pause. Old silent pad, pause. A frog jumps into the pond. A frog jumps into the pond. So there was a frog jumps into the pond, right? Old silent pond, pause. A frog jumps into the pond. Splash. Silence again. Did you get it? So always remember, class, Kariji always uh is a cutting word. It creates a pause in the poem and makes the readers think. Alright? Take note of that. It Kirigi always splits two images, creates tension, and makes the poem deeper. So actually, in English haiku, we don't have real Japanese Kirigi. We just use punctuation instead. So when we going to use punctuations like earlier, old silent pad, we use the punctuation dash. I'm sure you guys know what is dash, right? Old silent pond dash. What happens in the poem before the dash? What happens after? That's the question. What happens after dash? A frog jumps into the pan. That's what happens after the dash. Okay? The Okay. So if not all today, and I hope you have a good day ahead of you. All right? See you in our next class. Goodbye for now.